Brotato, released June of 2023. Available on all modern platforms. Retailing for $4.99. Brotato is a simple game. You play as one of many different potatoes, each of which starting with their own advantages and disadvantages, and you must survive 20 rounds that get longer with each round. Between each round, you're given an opportunity to buy new weapons and equipment. You're given the option between 4 pieces of equipment, and if you have the funds, you can buy all 4. You can also re-roll what's available in the shop, for a small price at first, but that price goes up with each reroll. And there is a huge number of options in what to buy, and more items get unlocked as you accomplish certain things within the game. You also unlock more potatoes to play as you play the game. But what items you should buy is very dependent on what potato you're playing as if you're looking to actually make it through all 20 rounds, you're going to need to play to your potato's strength. As you might think you can compensate for your potato's weakness with the right equipment and picking the right things when you level up, but in reality that will usually not work out. So in other words, if your potato gets a bonus to elemental damage, you'd better be picking up nothing but elemental weapons. If your potato gets a bonus for using turrets, well then you'd better make sure you're using a lot of turrets. However, the items that are in the shop are at least somewhat random, so the best laid plans don't necessarily work out every time. It's also worth noting that when you're actually playing the rounds, you have very little control. Your weapons will either fire or swing automatically. Turrets and mines are placed randomly. You can only control where your character moves. Now, as enemies will chase you, you can use this to your advantage. Make it so a large group of enemies chasing you steps on a mine, or kite them around a couple of turrets that happen to spawn next to each other. Now, your potato, regardless of which one you play as, has a lot of different stats, and it isn't readily apparent what all of these do. But if you want to save yourself a lot of guesswork, you can actually find out when you're in the shop between levels. You can highlight all the stats, and it tells you exactly what they do. And it actually took me a lot of playing before I noticed this. Overall, this is a simple game, but not necessarily an easy one. It reminded me most of playing Flash games in the early 2000s in both its look and style. However, this game had far more polish than any Flash game I ever played did. So is Brotato worth your time and money? Well, since it only costs $5, yes, absolutely it's worth your time and money. It's literally cheaper than a movie out of the dump bin at Walmart. But aside from its incredibly cheap price, it's also a quality game, as each potato unlocks an item when you actually beat round 20 with them. And beating round 20 unlocks higher difficulties on that particular potato. And as you beat difficulties, higher difficulties unlock, at least for a little while. And higher difficulties introduce new enemy types with new behavior patterns, and also force you to be a little more dedicated in your strategy. But as there are a lot of random elements, sometimes things are stacked against you no matter how you're playing. And sometimes it really feels like the shop is giving you the exact wrong selection of items to choose from, no matter how many times you reroll. But even that happening is alright, because this is not the kind of game that's about any single run you're playing. It's about playing runs over and over again, till you eventually get one where you win. Or even win when a lot of things are stacked against you, because that can happen. And when it does, it feels really nice. And playing through to round 20 on any potato only takes about half an hour. So this is a game you can play almost any time and have some enjoyment. And if you have to stop in the middle, the game will save what round you were on. So yes, whatever you're playing on, go to the digital storefront and put $5 down for Brotato. please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.